Hello and welcome to Eco India, a sustainability magazine which puts the focus on innovations and solutions so that you can make an informed choice to live a better tomorrow. Every week we bring you ideas from across India and Europe and the people who make them possible. I'm Sanuta Raghu, coming to you from Mumbai in India. Over the next 30 minutes, how an innovation incubator lab in Delhi could be instrumental in solving the city's pollution problem. Why a Mumbai resident quit his day job to plant trees. And how a school in Berlin is integrating the understanding of biodiversity in every class. But first, let's focus on an issue that is considered one of the primary causes for Delhi's air pollution. 20 million tons of agricultural waste is burned in the northern states of Punjab and Haryana every year, leading to a severe drop in air quality in the region and affecting over 25 million people. An innovation incubator lab at the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi has found an alternative to prevent burning this waste. Could this be a game changer? Let's find out.
Winter is coming, and the farmers of a small village in Sonipat, just 40 kilometers from New Delhi, are busy planting new crops. At the end of the paddy harvest every year, farmers in the northern states of Haryana and Punjab often burn the crop stubble that is left behind. If we removed it by hand, it would take around 8 to 10 hours per day, and there would be high labor costs. The process is very time-consuming. "20 million tons of agricultural waste is burnt during this period, causing a severe worsening of air quality in the region. The hardest hit is India's capital city of Delhi. In recent years, air pollution has reached alarming levels. While vehicular emissions and industrial pollution also contribute to Delhi's poor air quality, stubble burning remains a prime cause. Public health experts even claim that breathing in the open air in Delhi equals smoking 20 cigarettes a day. Almost 1.5 million people in India die every year because of air pollution.
When we were doing this paper recycling project and when we were surveying it, we could feel that our eyes were becoming very watery, there were problems in breathing, and there was a lot of noise around us. Noise as in a lot of people were crying about crop stubble burning and pollution causing by that. So we thought we are in 21st century. There cannot, we have gotten to Mars and Moon, but why cannot we do something about the crop stubble which is actually burned and causing pollution?
Kriya Labs was set up by Ankur Kumar, Kanika Prajapat and Prachir Datta in 2014. Incubated at the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi, Kriya Labs is working with farmers in Haryana and Punjab to make crop residue profitable and prevent it from being burnt. The startup has developed the technology to manufacture tableware like plates and bowls from the crop stubble, which in its original form has no market value. The end product is eco-friendly and cheaper than its plastic counterparts.
After collecting the rice straw from the fields, the rice straw has to be chopped down into small pieces, and then it will be then it reaches the main unit where it will be washed, and all the dirt and the sand that comes along with it will be washed away.
So far, the founders are doing most of the work on their own. To clean the rice straw, they use a normal washing machine. Some chemicals are added in order to loosen the fibers. Then the rice straw is steamed and turned into a paste. The founders call the paste pulp. This is what gets processed into tableware.
We are in touch with farmers from Sangrur, Hoshiarpur, Simrala, Ludhiana, and all of them say the same thing, that if they will be compensated, they will do it. Because see, we need to understand that they burn it in their fields and the smoke first affects them and their children, and then it reaches to Delhi. So more than us, they are desperate to get a solution out of it.
The farmers will now be able to convert their agro waste into a commercial product. And Kriya Labs is working on another innovation to decentralize operations and manufacturing and put the onus on farmers to recycle their crop residue.
Our model is basically that we'll sell this machine, we'll sell the small pulp manufacturing unit to interested entrepreneurs. So there are people who have medium to large scale farms, and they are willing enough to spend money to set up this small pulp manufacturing unit, which we will provide to them. And whatever pulp they produce out of their paddy straw, we will buy it back. So we will give them the market guarantee that whatever pulp you produce, we'll get it back, and they will make sure that whatever straw they have in their fields as well as they have in the fields of small farmers, they will collect it and process it. So it's a win-win situation for both of us.
Kriya Labs' innovation could be one solution to the air pollution problem in India.
Every one of us at least has a cup of tea daily, which is made from a pulp. Now, if that pulp can be made from paddy straw pulp, you can exactly correlate the market and the supply side of it. So our technology, if adopted as large scale, will actually connect the 20 million tons of agro residue to a vast amount of market and provide monetary compensation to the farmers as well.
If the technology is adopted on a large scale, 20 million tons of agro residue could be turned into eco-friendly plates and bowls.
Now in the neighbouring Sri Lanka, tourism is booming. By 2020, the island expects to welcome 3 million holiday makers annually. But many of the accommodations are aging, energy intensive and environmentally unfriendly. Air conditioners in particular use up a lot of power and contain harmful refrigerants. The country's largest hotel chain is trying to change that by making properties carbon neutral. Take a closer look.
It's an ambitious vision. One of Sri Lanka's biggest hotel chains wants to cover all of its energy needs with renewables by 2020. Jetwing runs 30 upscale hotels on the island and welcomes visitors from around the world.
No business can be sustained in the long term if you don't look after your people and the planet.
Their strategy is to install cutting-edge air conditioning systems powered by a sustainable energy source, wood byproducts from the cinnamon industry. It's quite a bold move for a hotel chain to take charge of its own energy supplies, one that's not without risk.
We can be a role model or we can be a guinea pig.
But just how green is Jetwing really?
Aibowan, welcome. May you live long. Come on in.
We visit the chairman of Jetwing at home. Hiran Kore is one of the most powerful men in Sri Lanka's tourism industry. His father Herbert set up the company in the 1970s. Even back then, the business was environmentally minded.
My father always believed that wherever we go and build hotels, we go in as strangers to that area. So to him, it was important that we looked after that environment and also made sure that the local communities benefited from whatever he was doing.
Negombo, a picturesque port on the west coast. There are 5 Jetwing hotels in the surrounding area. The island's electricity grid may look old-fashioned, but about 30% of Sri Lanka's electricity already comes from renewable sources, mainly hydropower. So, in seeking to be carbon neutral, Jetwing isn't starting at zero. Air conditioning accounts for over half the energy consumed in the hotels. Conventional technology uses electricity to compress refrigerants that are harmful to the environment. But a new type of eco-friendly air conditioning has already been installed in 5 hotels. Its system cools with water vapor. The German development agency GIZ trained the technicians involved. The necessary electricity is produced by burning biomass. The hotels will save money from the switch, but only in the long term. The new boilers are twice as expensive as the old ones, and operating costs are considerably higher.
The biomass boiler, you have to keep on feeding. You have to make sure that the pressure is at 8 bar. Constantly maintaining 24/7, labor intensive. It's manual feeding, maybe every half an hour that you have to keep on feeding the fuel.
That fuel is waste wood from cinnamon farming. It only releases the amount of carbon dioxide that the tree absorbed during its lifetime. Power used to come straight out of the socket, but now Jetwing has to build up its own grid. 150 kilometers to the south is the center of the island's cinnamon production. Dinesha Silver farms cinnamon as people have done here for generations. After removing an outer layer of bark, they pry off strips of inner bark. The quills will later be packaged as cinnamon sticks.
We also pack in all the little bits, and then we let the entire thing dry in the sun.
Cinnamon is an important sideline that the family relies on to get by. Dinesha's husband also works as a cabinet maker. Her brother has an administrative job. Until now, the wood left over from the cinnamon harvest was waste byproduct. Now the family can sell it to Jetwing and earn extra cash. Hiran Kure is visiting another supplier who's been selling waste wood for a while. Small bakeries, for instance, sometimes use it as fuel. But since Jetwing has started ordering from him, things have grown much simpler.
These days I can sell in bulk to bulk buyers. In the past it was all small-scale stuff.
Jetwing is Sri Lanka's biggest buyer of the fuel, snapping up around half of what's available. The company is already pushing the limits of what can be achieved with biomass. If the hotel chain really wants to achieve its goal of being carbon neutral by 2020, then Hiran Kure is going to have to opt for an additional renewable energy source, solar power. He's already made some investments in photovoltaics, but he'll have to invest a lot more.
We will need to buy land away from, because the land by the beach resorts is obviously very expensive, and then you cannot convert those into solar parks. But there are lands in the interior which can be bought for a much lower price, and there it is possible for us to have a big solar park.
A hotel chain that's 100% green. If the experiment is a success, it could set an example for other hotels in Sri Lanka and those further afield.
It's undisputed that making businesses carbon neutral should be implemented across industries to bring about macro change. But can a single individual on a micro level make a dent? Our next story is about Shubhajit Mukherjee, who quit his day job to convince citizens to care for and plant trees along the upcoming metro rail route in Mumbai. Let's find out more.
It is a very well-known fact that today there is a war-like situation where human beings are fighting against trees. Wherever we see trees are losing the battle. We are just cutting the trees for our own well-being, but we are forgetting that these are the trees which are actually helpful for us to survive.
A few years ago, Shubhajit Mukherjee quit his job after working for 12 years as a human resources professional. He made a decision to dedicate all his time to planting trees.
There was definitely a day where I was suffering from cough And when I spoke to doctor that why is this happening to me, they made it very clear it is simply because of the air pollution that is especially on the link road. I had been using it for around 5 kilometers for 5 years, more than 5 years. So doctor made it very clear that you need to stop using that road.
The city of Mumbai has lost 60% of its greenery over the past 25 years. This alarming trend, coupled with the city's pollution levels, is a cause of huge concern to residents. Most are helpless when it comes to finding a way out. But for more than 3 years now, Mukherjee has helped local people plant over 50,000 trees in Mumbai.
Just make sure nobody is killing the plant. Okay? Tree plantation is very difficult because whenever we go to any people, they say that there is no space available. So it was very important for us to bring everyone together with the help of media, with the help of radio, with the help of social groups, WhatsApp groups, individuals. We came up with dedicated campaigns that help us to find space to plant trees in Mumbai, and we will give you the saplings for free. We will do the plantation, you just need to have to take care of it. I got more than, I think, 40,000 emails from people.
He now works with a team of 2,000 volunteers. Mukherjee admits that raising awareness of the need to plant trees is hard work.
The biggest difference we need is in the mindset. Somehow the hatred, the war between humans and tree needs to stop. We need to approach as many people as possible to the last man who is alive on earth. They should know that we need to plant a tree right now.
Now, Shubhajit also invites schools via Facebook to support his work, and local schools are more than happy for their students to participate. Just like our next story, a school in Berlin is trying out a unique experiment by introducing understanding the biodiversity to its curriculum. They don't just talk about it in biology class, the school finds ways to integrate concepts of conservation to every subject. Take a look.
Summer vacation is over. It's back to school. The first lesson is taking place out in the school garden. For these Berlin students, spades and pruning shears are as important for school as books and pens.
Other schools might do other kinds of things, but here we've got our garden and the farm and the animals. It's really something special.
Plants and animals are an integral part of their education. Here the kids learn how an ecosystem functions. The garden waste lands next door at the school's farmyard. The farm has a number of residents, including ducks, pigs, and chickens. Then there's Liesel the mule and Charlotte the pony. They graze in the school's former sports field. Their dung lands on a compost heap and becomes the fertilizer that can be used for the next generation of plants. The school is gradually becoming surrounded with greenery. The main building is pretty bare outside, the playground out front as well, but not for much longer. The concrete is about to be turned into a bed of reeds, like this part of the grounds. The green ideas are all part of a conscious move by the school to encourage biological diversity. When Germany launched the National Strategy on Biological Diversity back in 2007, the school's teachers got together and thought about ways to anchor the idea in lessons. Biological diversity now has a fixed place in the curriculum.
We teach the same subjects as other schools. We have art, physics, sports, foreign languages. But we've also incorporated biological diversity into the school curriculum. And as far as I know, we're the only school in Germany that does that. The staff sat down and thought about what we'd need to do, about the current situation in society, and what we want to teach our students. And they came up with their own curriculum.
In the economics, work, and technology class, students build wooden frames for the raised garden beds. In math, they measure and plan the beds. They also grow specific plants that can be used in chemistry lessons. And they learn how to turn some of the things they grow into products like herb vinegar or jam. But it's not just about practical skills. They also learn about the advantages of diversity. Take the three sisters, for instance. That's the traditional name given to a mixed bed of squash, corn, and climbing beans. The plants are grown together because they complement each other so well.
The students get to see how planting a mixture of crops is much better for the environment and is also good for a healthy, balanced diet. And then they begin to understand that the farming sector generally needs to move away from the extreme forms of monoculture we've seen and begin growing a wider crop mix.
Before everyone goes home, the goats have to be fed. There are keepers who tend to the animals, but the students like to do it themselves if they're able. And here, biological diversity is a year-round subject.
In winter, we're mostly indoors, in the workshop. This year, we built a beehive and an insect hotel. And there's always stuff to do, like clearing out the animal boxes, cleaning the yard, giving the animals straw and hay. It's definitely more fun than sitting behind a desk in class.
The ducks and chickens would agree. The students and teachers are proud that their unique lesson plan has won them international recognition, and they're now an officially designated European Eco School.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A Romanian photographer has made it her mission to prove that saying with what she calls the Atlas of Beauty. After quitting her job as a television station producer, she traveled around the world to photograph women like her to underscore that every woman is beautiful the way she is. Here's her story.
Mihaela Noruk has been in Georgia, China, and India. She's visited more than 50 countries in the last 4 years to capture images of female beauty.
When I started this project, I didn't have this idea about a global project. I was just aiming for something of a curiosity for myself.
Still, doing it required a leap of faith. Noruk quit her job at a TV production company in Bucharest. At first, she lived off her savings. Then she started financing her trips through crowdfunding. Whether in Myanmar, Germany, or Italy, the streets and markets are her workplace. Noruk approaches women and photographs them then and there.
It's a very instinctual process. It's a very... maybe some chemistry is going on, maybe some energies are going to be exchanged between me and that person. Sometimes it's just one look and I'm very drawn to that person. Lighter. Yeah.
In Berlin, the Romanian photographer has been preparing for her first major solo show. She wants everything to be perfect, as these photos have become part of her life.
You have to dedicate yourself completely towards something that you believe in. And sometimes it just works out, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to try. Otherwise, it's like all the women that I approached. Many of them, they said, no, I will not be part of your project, I'm afraid. And I didn't give up. That's the key in everything. Never give up, never give up.
Recently, Noruk also began to collect the women's stories, to ask them about the challenges in their lives. This woman in Germany beat cancer twice. She fled with her daughters from war-torn Syria. And she works in one of the most remote regions in the world.
These women are all heroes. They are heroes of day-to-day life. They are usually not noticed. They go unnoticed, unfortunately. But they are heroes for their families. They are heroes for their friends. And I just celebrate them.
Now their stories and photos have been published in a book called The Atlas of Beauty. It's meant to send a message.
beauty is everywhere in different forms, of course. I think it doesn't have a definition. I think this is our problem as humans because we try to put it in a box. I think we have to take it out of the box and understand that beauty has so many forms.
Soon, Mihaela Nuruk will set off again. There are still many countries and more forms of beauty to explore. Her project is far from over.
I hope you had many takeaways from today's show. We'll bring you many more stories from India and Europe, each one taking us one step closer to a sustainable future. Goodbye and have a wonderful week.